Good evening and welcome to Resource PNG. In tonight's edition, we feature the IBM Enterprise Center. As an independent business unit, which is part of the PNG Institute of Banking and Business Management, Enterprise Center was established as an outcome of an agreement with the PNG LNG project, which funds all the management, activities and operations. Enterprise Center offers a variety of services for the local supplier development arm of the PNG LNG project to assist capacity building of PNG business, mainly the landowner companies. Here is Enterprise Center, how it was set up and the services it offers.
Established in March 2010 through an agreement with SO Highlands Limited, the Enterprise Center has contributed a considerable amount to the development and growth of landowner companies and PNG businesses throughout PNG during its 2.5 years of operation. A large database of supplier and potential suppliers to the PNG LNG project has been created, and more companies are seeking guidance on how they can improve their business operations through the assessment, training, advisory, and mentoring services that the Enterprise Center provides.
Look at the customer in the eye, okay? Look at the eye.
SO Highlands Limited recognizes that the project is more than just delivering LNG. It's also about developing people, capacity, and PNG in general. Wherever ExxonMobil works around the world, we have a national content plan designed to demonstrate good corporate citizenship, responsible development, and good business sense. The national content plan is essentially a citizenship commitment that is tailored for each country to help develop human, social, and economic capacity in a way that benefits people, communities, and businesses over the long term. The National Content Plan is built on 3 pillars which focus on providing sustainable businesses benefits through supplier development, workforce development, and strategic community investment. In Papua New Guinea, SO Highlands Limited has taken these 3 pillars and translated them into local commitments that fully consider the livelihoods and cultures of the local communities who reside in the project impact areas, as well as PNG at large. Under the supplier development, which is one of the 3 pillars of the National Content Plan, the project purchases local goods and services and build capacities of PNG businesses, in particular the landowner companies. The project has established the Enterprise Center concept in partnership with IBM. The Enterprise Center's main role is to build the capacities of the landowner companies and PNG businesses through training, mentoring, and advisory services, as well as connecting Papua New Guinea businesses and the landowner companies with the project.
Ray Clark, who has been involved with the Enterprise Center since inception, is proud of its achievements.
Well, the first achievement was getting it up and running on time. The second achievement was to be able to, over the years, attract some very talented staff. We have met the targets that SO Highlands set us in respect to establishing the database, getting the interest of companies who, the Lanco companies and other companies that wanted to get involved in the PNG LNG project. And quite a lot of the companies have benefited considerably by the services that the Enterprise Center has been able to contribute.
So how does the Enterprise Center provide opportunities for business growth and development? It does this through the provision of Project Information Center, the PNG LNG Supplier Database and Dashboard for web-based sourcing, Business Assessment Services, Business Improvement Plans, Management and Business Training Advisory and Mentoring Services.
We'd like to get the mentality out from their minds that this is it, it's going to last forever. That's the thing we're trying to let them know, that no, this is not going to last forever. Whatever opportunities that they take advantage of now, we want them to understand that they must be sustainable to the beyond the life of this project, and to being very close to the Port Moresby, it's important that they understand that the land that they are used to working on won't be there long. They have to start trying to educate their children so that they take advantage of the urban opportunities.
Stay with us on this special edition of the Enterprise Center, as we'll be right back with more. Welcome back to the program in which we feature the Enterprise Center. Earlier on, we heard about why the organization was set up. In this next lineup, we find out the type of services it offers.
Let us take a closer look at each of these services and how some local companies have benefited from each service. The Project Information Center aims to establish and enhance communication between all PNG LNG stakeholders. The Project Information Center has facilities to cater for this need that include meeting rooms, free internet, telephones, printing, and photocopying facilities. The team also offers mentoring and advisory services with the aim of sustaining businesses and encouraging growth. More and more women are taking advantage of these services.
This resulted from the Women in Business initiative that was taken by several leading women advocates, women in business advocates. And out of that, we arranged meetings with the landowner groups, particularly targeting the women. And we've been successful in securing interested women, particularly the women associations from the respective villages, particularly the LNG plant site in the Central Province, attending training as well as trying to seek business advice, very basic tasks that or interests that they want us to address in terms of taking advantage of the opportunities the PNG LNG project have provided for them.
The team maintains a database of local suppliers. There are 1,300 companies currently registered. This registration process is in line with Esso Highlands Limited National Content Plan. Registration on the database gives companies the edge to get project contracts. Enterprise Center's PNG LNG Supplier Database Coordinator, Ms. Ali Claire Aribi, is responsible for this.
Well, the PNG LNG Supplier Database is free to all PNG companies, and it's a service provided by Esso Highlands Limited under the National Content Plan. So we advise that all Papua New Guineans should take part because this is a first of its kind in Papua New Guinea, and we're very excited and would like also all Papua New Guinean companies to come join us to benefit from the Enterprise Center and also Esso Highlands Limited as a whole. In my career as a young Papua New Guinean female, it has helped me a lot. I also get to meet Papua New Guinean businessmen and women, and it's a very exciting role in the PNG LNG project.
A company that has registered on the database and has a lot to do with LNG project is Laba Holding Limited.
Well, I think it should be an ongoing interface with the Enterprise Center and Laba and other companies such as Laba in the medium to long term in terms of exposure of Laba to the business world and particularly to similar projects that are coming on board around Papua New Guinea. Laba needs that exposure and with Enterprise Center's assistance, I think in future we will have no problem, and that this continuing dialogue and interface with the Enterprise Center should continue, and should be great benefit to Laba and to Enterprise Center as well.
We will continue on with that story after the short break. Enterprise Center is an initiative of the PNG LNG project set up to assist capacity building of PNG businesses. We will continue on with the story from where we left.
When clients register on the database, there is a need for these businesses to be assessed to meet the standards that Esso Highlands Limited has set. Enterprise Center helps in this regard. One of the assessors is Stanley Thomas.
For the past 1 year, we have been dealing with assisting local companies out here in Papua New Guinea to help build their capacities in terms of what we do is we try to identify where the companies stand as of now through business assessment. It is based on Enterprise Center's philosophy of continuous improvement, where what we try to do is start off with a business assessment, we do a gap analysis, then we come up with a business improvement plan, and based on which we decide what training, mentoring or advisory services that we can provide the company. My learning would be like I got to learn about different companies and various industries out here in Papua New Guinea, which is a different experience altogether. Compared to my background, like I've worked in Philippines and in India, but compared to that here it's been quite different. The companies are the standards which they follow, because as part of business assessment we compare companies or benchmark companies against international best practices with regard to policies and procedures. So assisting companies out has been quite interesting here.
The Enterprise Center wants to make sure that every business on their database gets the right kind of training. An assessment is the best way to find out where their needs are.
Well, I would say my achievement has been assessing the landowner companies, because landowner companies play a vital role in the project areas. We try to understand the skill gaps and the shortages as far as capacity building of those companies are concerned. We try to identify the gaps in those companies, and then we come up with a business improvement plan. As a part of the business improvement plan, we try to scout opportunities and try to match their capacities with the requirements of the LNG project, and then give them the right opportunity.
The assessment process covers several areas, including organization and governance, business management, financial management, HR management, fixed asset management and inventory control, safety, health and environment management, quality control, reputation and image. The companies that were involved in this assessment saw this as a need that could help build more efficient and sustainable businesses.
Definitely, I recommend other businesses to work with the Enterprise Center for their own benefit. Similarly, Lab has worked with the Enterprise Center in the last couple of years, and they really have benefited through their engagement and interaction with the Enterprise Center.
If we want to be competitive in this day and age, we need to have this kind of certification, the ISO certification. And because we are now, for our business, we are now in the line to be assessed by IBM Enterprise Center. And this assessment will take us to the next level. It will show us what gaps we have and how we can close those gaps. And especially with the ISO certification, which is our next goal, to obtain or attain that, we need to have our business assessed. And then from there, we can move on to the ISO certification.
Pretty bit tough. We are not even there yet. We need to do a lot of things to get there. But hopefully, probably next LNG project or down the line, we should benefit. But IBM, what they are doing is, Enterprise Center, what they are doing is, they help us for future. And not now, because we're not even there. But other businesses, yes, they can be there. But with the petroleum industry, it's big, huge, and you need to meet all those little things. Standards must be in place to really involve in that business. But as for me, it's tough because I can't break through. But I hope that we are a merchant company, and maybe 5-10 years down the line, we should be there.
Well, going through the assessment procedure was good for us because it It confirmed that many of our current practices were right on track, and we were acting and working responsibly. It confirmed that we were compliant with all sorts of government regulations from IPA to IRC and so on. But it also helped us to identify areas that we needed to improve on. So that helped us tremendously.
It is one thing to start a business, but another to sustain it. And in order to ensure the sustainability of a business, training is a must.
Well, in today's world, everyone needs to be a skilled worker. From the receptionist to the high school education to the CFO with an MBA degree, the entire workforce has become a skill landscape, and therefore that means everybody needs a continuous training, no matter whatever position they are in. A continuous training, a continuous learning process is very much required for everybody in an organization. When there are gaps in the skilled workforce, gaps caused by lack of training, then automatically work becomes inefficient and money is lost. Training is such an important aspect for any organization growth. Training not only motivates the employees, but it also helps in contributing to the organization's success. We have provided several training for Lancos, the landowner companies, and several PNG businesses. The training includes, our training includes sections like business basics, directors training, and several soft skill workshops, which reminds people about the basic things they need to understand in their day-to-day workforce. Things like customer service, time management, all these are just few important workshops which we conduct at Enterprise Center. These are very important short workshops conducted here just to help the employees understand that the simple tips of customer service and time management skills would help them to manage their time so effectively and improve their performance.
Training of such has been helping a lot of companies in these areas.
IBM and Enterprise Center have assisted LABA a lot in its establishment in the early days, and up until now we have been assisted by IBM and the Enterprise Center in terms of business assessment, and in terms of training of our directors, and in terms of training our village people in how to manage, organize business activities at the micro level, at the village level. In terms of assistance to LABA, we have had a lot of assistance from them in terms of training of directors and a lot of our own admin staff here at LABA.
If organizations have to survive and prosper in the face of a rapid change, they need to be more flexible, faster moving, and faster learning than ever before. And hence, training is not an option, it is essential for everybody in the organization.
Very interesting to know how these PNG businesses are benefiting. We'll go for another quick break. Don't go too far, as there's more coming up. The Enterprise Center helps the PNG LNG project to build capacities of PNG businesses, develops and enhances the business skills of Papua New Guineans in order to be engaged in some form of business activity with the PNG LNG project. Here's more on the story.
One such company is Emmy's Bakery and Catering Services.
Emmy's Bakery and Catering Services was established in 2004. And basically because of our love for food, and we wanted to share that experience with others as well. Currently for the PNG LNG project, we only cater for Exxon, and whichever organizations or clients that Exxon wants us to cater for, only for this facility, the Port Moresby Construction Training Facility. So at the moment, we only cater for Exxon. Especially in terms of training, they've come up and given us advice regarding that as well. And so that's in terms of making sure our business is well grounded. And on top of that, in terms of other services that they've provided us, the LNG supplier database, which has been really helpful for us because it has identified registered suppliers, so we don't go and just engage someone who is not registered with the Enterprise Center. They have to be registered, so that as part of Exxon's requirement, you need to conduct business with people who are registered with the Enterprise Center. And we've also gone and attended the ISO training, which is this was the first type of training which IBM Enterprise Center brought to Papua New Guinea, and it was a two-part training. One was the quality management systems, and the other one was the occupational health and safety. So this was a very vital training. Now it's given us the opportunity to be able to prepare ourselves in terms of documentation to follow the ISO certification process and understand how we need to get to the ISO certification level. So that training has been really great for us, and IBM Enterprise Center has really assisted us by including us, giving us the opportunity to attend the training. Really vital for us because we've got all my staff, and I've got 16 staff, and they've all attended the basic food safety course, and they've also done the, for the supervisors and management, we've done the advanced food safety course, and we've also had staff attend first aid training. They've done some bit of fire training, because fire is important, especially in a kitchen environment. So we've done that training as well, and we've got staff that have done the chemical training as well. And with that, it's taught me and my staff, my team, that food safety is very important. And ExxonMobil has emphasized that safety is one of the big issues. So this is something we've come to learn, and we have had to abide by. And
the Enterprise Center has helped another company, Bigger Petroleum. They started from humble beginnings to become a major player in the petroleum supply chain in the southern region.
Bigger Petroleum, we started in 2005. That was, we started back at the house we have a residential area at all the states for. This is where we started, and we got registered in 2005. And I actually worked for British Petroleum as a storeman. I worked from the gate right through to leading and supervisor, and then into office as a dispatch clerk. And I see that there's a need for small clients, like they purchase 1 or 2 drums. You know, we have clients outside of NCDC towards Daru and Kikori, Baimu. The company we called Fuel Drum Management Service initially. It's not Bigger Petroleum. We just changed the company recently. It was Fuel Drum Management Service, because dealing with fuel, you know, take them to the wharf. I look after all those deliveries and freight, and they just put their money into their account, just manage their drums. And this is how we got started.
We have around 150 million kinas worth of bad debt listed on our database too. I think probably significantly what we have achieved though is our members have recovered over 20 million kinas worth of bad debt that they're listed on our database.
Let's hear what these PNG companies have to say about the Enterprise Center services.
Being a company in the petroleum business, standards are a must. There are standards for anything. Mr. John Biggers saw that they had to make sure they had the right training for the right people, and the Enterprise Center helped with this.
Yeah, well, just recently, one of our staff attended the ISO training. We're looking at second batch as well. We try to, because to deal with petroleum standard, you have to have standards and compliance. So that's the thing that we talked about, and then we try to, build our own standards here, because we can't get it from Interworld or Mobile, because we have to, suit our business. We must have these standards, because when you try to do business with well-established company, they will look at your standards, and if you don't have this one in place, I don't think you will get business. With other businesses, okay, but with the petroleum business, it's quite big, and you have to meet all the nitty-gritty to be in there. There's so many local businesses. It's really hard to get in there. I mean, to get business from well-established companies. But what IBM is doing is it's helping the national company, and there are some companies are here, but they haven't met the standard. But what they are doing is, I think that they're helping us. They're helping us to be in there, get as much as we can in terms of training, have a broader knowledge, so that when we're trying to get business within the country or outside, probably at least we need to meet standards.
Another service that the Enterprise Center offers is mentoring service. This is to help companies to build stronger businesses.
Basically, I do on business development. I look for as per the national content plan, we actually try to implement what is in the national content plan. So as to my role, I do business development with the landowner companies on the project impact areas. What I do is basically talk to the landowners, the managing directors, the chairmen, people who are in charge of the business, and basically doing advisory role on. And I basically do manuals for them. I check on the records of like on tendering and procurements, HR, the whole aspect of what it means to do a business. So where I see there's if they lack certain skills or if they lack certain knowledge, basically I do recommendations and I do what we call a business plan. So in the business plan, I recommend, okay, you lack some skills in HR, or you lack some skills in your procurement, or you lack some skills in your management. So we put in some plans to actually close the gaps that they have.
I'd just like to say that I'm very proud to have been associated with the Enterprise Center since we contracted with SO Highlands in January 2010, and it has achieved remarkable results, I believe, in the 2 years and 6 months that it's been in place. And going forward, it'll be very an essential organisation for the continuing development of small businesses throughout Papua New Guinea.
The companies that have registered with the Enterprise database think that it is a good thing that others should follow suit in order to create sustainable businesses.
Yeah, of course. I think that helping a small business to comply and meet the standards to other clients, so as well as us too.
Well, we are working on strategies on how we will operate LABA in the coming years to be able to sustain itself after the construction phase is over. So there are plans or strategies in place where we want LABA to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Well, it's interesting to see what they do in the business community. I was particularly impressed that the way they're trying to assist PNG entrepreneurs and local businessmen and women. I think it's a fairly significant step and an effective way of helping Papua New Guineans get some benefit from this LNG project.
This, we believe, will ensure that landowner companies and other PNG businesses build and strengthen their management and operations capabilities that will enable them to compete for contracts with the project and other business opportunities within or outside the country in the long term. We are therefore proud of our continued partnership with the Enterprise Center and the impact that the organization is having on the development of local PNG businesses and our landowner companies.
After the break, we have an interview with the Governor of the Bank of Papua New Guinea, Mr. Loy Bakani, and ask him about his new position as the chairman of IBBM's Enterprise Center. Thank you for staying with us. We have told you about what the Enterprise Center does. So what more do they want to do? The Enterprise Center has recently named the Governor of the Bank of Papua New Guinea, Mr. Loy Bakani, as the new chairman. Resource PNG talked to Mr. Bakani about his new role.
So congratulations, Mr. Loy Bakani, for being the new chairman for the Institute of Business and Banking in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you.
So with your new, well, you're now the chairman, what do you foresee the future for IBBM and the Enterprise Center?
Thank you. The Enterprise Center is about just a bit over two and a half years.
Yes.
The core role and purpose of the IBBM is still there, which is providing banking training in banking for our staff, member staff, in the banks, including Bank of Papua New Guinea. And the Enterprise Center was established together with the GES project, LNG project, to look at the landowner, capacity building of landowner companies, and look at building up database for suppliers that could benefit out of or work together with the landowner companies. Now, going forward, the Enterprise Center has done a marvelous job already in terms of building up a database of both suppliers, landowner companies that have gone through training, assessment of those companies, and having them graded so that they can also be able to get contracts elsewhere. Going forward, we want to, and together with the agreement of ExxonMobil, we have now extended the membership or corporate membership of the Enterprise Center to other mining and oil companies. It'll be the same kind of objective is to have training for those landowners of those projects, and then get them to be graded and link them to certain, how to build up, to pick up contracts from the project. We're also providing some facilities within the Enterprise Center for companies who can come and do, like a one-day workshop, or 2 days, up to 2 days training. So, and we also have people who are, trainers who can provide those training also for those people. So there is it's broadening the role of Enterprise Center to look at capacity building in a broad range of areas, including like of microfinance and also SME, small medium enterprise training for those, especially those companies.
So just looking at, they have this national content plan that SO Highlands had included in this, right? So what they've done is focus on building up a workforce as well, besides the database. How do you think that's helping Papua New Guinea?
That is a very good thing for the Enterprise Center, because the latest work now that the project, LNG project, wants us to do is to put together the list of those companies, individuals who have gone, the workforce, the workers who are been employed by the gas project, because after the construction is over, most of these people will be coming out of the workforce, coming out of the project. So the database will help other people, potential employers, pick up those, the skills that they require from those people. So the database will be held within the IBM Enterprise Center, and potential employers can go into the site and pick up any people they want that are listed in the database. So that's a very good project or way forward, because you don't want these people to come out of the project, LNG project, and for them to also look for jobs themselves. I mean, they can do that, but the thing is, there has to be a central place for other potential employers to come and do the search and pick up those people with the very appropriate skills that they require.
There's an interesting thing as well. The database actually, this process, the Enterprise Center, has allowed for not only Esso Highlands, but other companies also, which would seem quite different to the approach that other companies would use, because it's open to every company.
Yeah, it's a very unique arrangement, and I think we thank Esso Highlands, the LNG project, for allowing that to happen. The agreement is on the base that we want to look at the sustainability of the Enterprise Center over the project or the life of the LNG project. So that is why one area that you look at is they agreed for us to go into bringing in other projects, both in whether in a resource or otherwise, to be corporate members of the Enterprise Center. So, really appreciate what ExxonMobil did, in terms of agreeing to this way forward for us to look at different ways of sustaining operations of Enterprise Center.
So now, as chairman, the new chairman of IBBM, what do you foresee? What else are we looking forward to in the future for your organization?
I have a plan that going forward to bring in all those corporate companies to be corporate members of the Enterprise Center, and we've agreed in the last board meeting for them to partner to elect membership to one committee. Okay. And then that committee works and sort of looks at all the different ways of how they want to see the Enterprise Center operate over the coming years, and then they bring it up to the full board which the board that I'm chairing, the IBBM board. All right. So there is a structure we're working on now. On one hand, we'll have the IBBM core role of providing banking training for our members. And then on the other side, the structure, other part of the structure involves the Enterprise Center, and in that you have a committee or subcommittee that sort of looks at the operations of the Enterprise Center, and then they report up to the full board.
Anything else you'd like to talk about with regards to the IBBM and Enterprise Center?
It's a great idea. I think I encourage all resource companies to make inquiries with our CEO, Sweta. She will discuss the potential of all the possibilities or the potential of how they can benefit out of being a member of Enterprise Center. And also for other clients, other private sector companies, we provide facilities that you can also come and utilize for daily workshops or some form of training. So those are the facilities that are available. They are very high standard facilities, and but especially for resource companies, I think it's very important that we get to train our landowner companies so that they can take up potential or opportunities that arise out of the project.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Bakhani.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of our program. Thank you for staying with us. For more information on the program, you can email us resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. And if you would like to watch more of our shows, do check out the MTV online site www.emtv.com.pg and go to our Resource PNG page. Until then, have a pleasant rest of the evening. God bless.